thousands of Christians have spoken up in favor of trans rights. Now, it turns out over 10,000 Christians signed a recent petition condemning the banning of Montana Representative Zooey Zephyr. She is, of course, the state's first transgender lawmaker. She has been, unfortunately, banned from the House floor after apparently breaching decorum. So that bothers me because what she was saying was absolutely true. I'll give her her quote on this, on what she said about a trans man, essentially. Zephyr spoke out last week against Senate Bill 99 that was recently signed by Montana Governor Greg Gianforte, which banned gender-affirming care for minors. So now Gianforte has a family member, I believe it's a son, who's non-binary, who's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you signing these terrible, hateful pieces of legislation? Well, I mean, I hate to break it to you, but Greg Gianforte is a terrible, hateful human being. That's just who he is. Now, the legislation, which will go into effect on October 1st, states that healthcare professionals who violate the gender-affirming ban are subject to discipline by the appropriate licensing entity or disciplinary review board. Consequences will include suspension from medical practice for at least a year. So basically, do gender-affirming care, which saves lives, saves the lives of transgender children, and you will end up getting punished by the state. Wow. On the House floor, Zephyr said that forcing a transgender child to go through puberty would be tantamount to torture, and said that the body should be ashamed. Quote, if you vote yes on this bill, I hope the next time you bow your heads in prayer, you see the blood on your hands. In response to that, Republicans, led by House Speaker Matt Razier, deemed her statements a breach of decorum. And what you're doing is totally fine. But when she actually has, when she actually represents people and speaks out against this, again, ban on something that is life-saving, she's the one in breach of decorum? She's the one in breach? No. It was ridiculous. As a result, she was barred from the House floor in a 68-32 vote and will not be allowed to debate or speak on legislation for the remainder of the session. In response, Zephyr has launched a lawsuit. So now the Republican Party loves to consider themselves the true supporters of Christianity, the standard bearers, even. Well, it turns out they don't actually represent the majority of Christians. A lot of Christians don't agree with the Republicans going after trans people. A lot of Americans don't agree with the Republican assault on transgender people. And so now the group Faithful America posted a petition on Friday in an effort to gather 15,000 signatures from those who were against the consequences Zephyr faced for speaking out against this bill. Arguing that she was simply speaking truth to power about the harms done by anti-trans legislation. Here's some of that petition. What it read: across the country, Christian nationalist politicians are twisting rules to shut down debate in state capitals across the country. It's a fascist tactic that silences already marginalized communities and undermines democracy. And social justice Christians have a key role to play in pushing back, Faithful America said in a statement posted along with the petition. I'm going to have to say this. Based. Heck yeah. I didn't want to say hell yeah because we're dealing with, religion. But no, this is great. And obviously it shows you, because the thing that we notice with a lot of these stories involving hateful, bigoted statements and politicians and stuff is that they generally will claim, oh no, it's because of Christianity says this is a bad thing. My religion says this is bad. It's a sin. And we're just being more moral. Now, obviously, it's not the moral position to, allow a situation where you have children that are transgender to not be able to transition, to not be able to get the care that they need. That reduces the instances of suicidal ideation. It's just been, it's a patent fact. It's been proven that gender affirming care saves lives. And banning it, what do you think you're doing? You're putting those lives in jeopardy, in danger. That's what's going on. So it's good to see that there are Christians that are speaking out and saying, no, this doesn't represent us at all. No, we're not in favor of this. We're in favor of people living their lives. So obviously it shows you that the majority of Christians are not, hateful bigots. I never believed that in the first place, but I think for the longest time, the very small, hateful, bigoted part claims to be part of that Christian group. Well, they were very loud, and they are very loud. So look, calling people, by the way, in a religion, members of an entire religion, hateful, bigoted people would be absurd, right? And by the way, it's absurd to call members of, I should say the entirety of any religion, those things. That said, the Republican Party said a lot of horrible things about Muslims. Remember during the Bush and Obama administrations, the right wing constantly fear-mongered about Muslims, calling them all terrorists, the ISIS, and so, I mean, that's how they feel about other religions. None of it was true. Of course. And Christian nationalists, let's be real, they also say terrible things about the Jews. It's not like we haven't caught them talking about, saying those terrible things about other, religious groups. Those same people, by the way, claim that Christianity is under attack in this country. It's not. It's not under attack by gay people. It's not under attack by trans people. It's not under attack by Muslims or anything like that. No. Most Americans know that, by the way. Most Christians know that. And some of the most loveliest people, the most accepting people, yes, of LGBTQIA plus people, I know are Christian. Leftist Christians are amazing people. They're also normal people who are Christian that are against this. They've got their own religious beliefs, but they don't go out of their way to do harm to other people. So what you have here, though, is Republicans that represent an extreme. The fundamentalists, the people who miss out completely on the point of Jesus. Again, you had Lauren Boebert going out there saying Jesus should have had an AR-15. Kind of defeats the whole point. But then she says a lot of wacky, ridiculous things about religion and about government, and yet she is an elected official. Jesus Christ. I guess literally. So that said, this group backed Zephyr's statements about forcing trans children to go through puberty, adding that the consequences of doing so result in higher rates of depression and suicide among trans youth. They said, let's rally around Representative Zephyr and show Republicans and the religious right that Christians will stand up for our neighbors and for democracy no matter what. I love it. Faithful America also said in its petition that every Montana politician who voted in favor of this bill, SB 99, has blood on their hands, echoing Zephyr, and accused the far right of continuing to push for needless restrictions in quote-unquote Jesus' holy name. Like, how dare you take our religion, what we believe, and turn it into something hateful? As Christians, they write, we stand in solidarity with the trans community and with Representative Zooey Zephyr, who was wrongly punished for speaking the truth about the damage done by anti-trans laws. From Montana to Tennessee, we oppose any and all attempts to weaponize government and twist legislative rules to silence, punish, or expel members of marginalized communities and their allies for speaking truth to power. So, again, I love it. I'm not a religious person, but I love it when religious people actually stand up and do the parts of their religion that are the good parts. We see again a lot of people using the bad parts, cherry picking the bad parts, and using those to go after marginalized people. So it's refreshing to see that you have people taking the good parts of the religion, the fact that you're supposed to love each other and look out for each other, and care for, the immigrant, care for the poor, care for other people. That's good. We need to see more of that in this country. We need a lot more in this country. So I like that they're pushing back against the fundamentalists, the people that are using their claiming to use their religion in order to hate other people and marginalize other people. Because I tell you what, faith can be a very good thing. It can be a helpful thing. Again, it's not for me, but you can get a lot of good personal comfort from faith. And if you're one of those people, wonderful. And even better if you use it to help other people, because that's ultimately what it should be for, to help others, never, ever to harm others. And I'm glad that this group is taking up that mantle and showing people how they're supposed to act, how real Christians are supposed to act.